And maybe in this case, the hauntings were rather... well, haunted. As it would seem that a large spider, or several, have infested the mountains, the caves behind Selene's old... Well, you could call it a hovel, but she'll correct you. As they had begun to get out of the tremendous storm pouring down on them, Mordecai had found a curious symbol carved into the entrance of this cave. And as that had occurred, a powerful magic was set off. Very similar, disturbingly so, to those that had laid them low before. A Fey presence in this world post-Orleans, the Archfey patron. And Chroma Company fell dark and silent. Only to wake up one by one, as the tales will tell. Let's sneak into the super secret chat room and say hi. After I make sure that my settings on Discord don't also mess up. Because they very well may have. There we go. Hello. Nope, nothing, huh? Let's try this.
You are muted.
There we go.
Because of a certain Amogus.
There may have been an imposter among us that required me to be muted.
Mogus.
Mogus. Meanwhile, I did the thing that I said I was going to do, Maddie.
Yes, I saw your brief message, and I will talk to you further about that.
Yes.
Make sure that you're off to a good start.
I will note, if you do need someone to run around with, I am on Primal Hyperion, so...
I will help you out then, as necessary. But right now, well, you're gonna need all the help you can get, just not from me, because I'm gonna be the one inflicting. But lethality, you at least you're not going first, so there's that. You can at least sit back, and if there's any jitters, you can maybe work those out of your system while we put coffee.
The last time I went first,
playing Mordecai right on blast, and we will be
always
joined...
on blast first.
Well, you get it over with quicker, right?
True.
The sooner you die, the less worry you have for the rest of your life. Fluffy will be joining us soon, and unfortunately we will not be having a Dark Wolf piloting Norlai, but I will do my best to infest her flesh and puppet her from within during the course of these tales.
Calm down, Sho'neuroth. You'll get your time.
Yes, well, good heavens, look at the time. I am going to...
Tentacles o'clock already!
I'm going to thrust us right into the... speaking of tentacles, I'm going to thrust us right into the middle of everything. And we are going to be able to begin without Fluffy. So, Fluffy, there's no immediate rush. However, if you're listening, if you can hear our voice, as I use my mouse like a Ouija indicator here, if you can hear our voice, you can give us a signal sometime. But for right now, we're going to begin Mordecai's tale. No problem, Fluffy. We'll be ready when you are. Mordecai, this was, well, you may not have necessarily seen the spider. You certainly saw the runes, but this was the last thing that you had seen, was this cave covered in webs, indicating some sort of arachnid presence. And then things went dark. Things went quiet. And for how long? Well, who knows? As you're not actually getting any sort of dreams, you're getting no indicators, good or bad. You're not even in that place with a light source with no light. Directionless voices don't speak to you. However, there is going to be a sliver of light. Orange, fiery, a setting sun, something ablaze. Your body does feel racked with pain. Like you've been through something. Your eyes open and flutter. And you can see the bright light is hopefully a sunset, although the clouds roil as if the sky itself is on fire. The distant sounds of conflict, rumbles of earth moving, of roars, of things that are unearthly. There are banners as you move your head and look around. Some upright, some dropped. Weapons. People. There's a lot of dead here, Mordecai. A great battle must have taken place. The air feels wrong. It looks hot, feels cold. There's a wind blowing the banners, but you don't feel it across your skin. How is there motion but no direction? Everything just feels unnatural. It feels aberrant. As you are prone on the ground, there is something, not a flash, a silhouette, a dark silhouette, whizzes to you. And a face, familiar in several different ways, now fills your vision. It's Selene. She's saying something, your ears are tuning in, your eyes are beginning to focus. But when you look upon Selene, it's her, but a lot of her isn't there, Mordecai. In fact, you see a lot of bone. And in between the bones of one lover and the flesh of another is the thinnest of flickering color, separating the two, almost in half. But this Selene is a lot more consumed than even a prior incarnation, which was half down the middle. Here you're getting maybe a quarter of her face, a shock of hair, 3 fingers on a hand. The rest, skeletal. But you can hear her words now, Mordecai, as she was saying something, maybe shouting, but your ears tune in.
There's a soft tap tap in your face, just to really refocus you in. Oh, was it too late?
What happened?
Everything is gone to shit. The others are still fighting. Up ahead, I managed to get back once you fell to...
How long have I been out?
Frankly, I don't have a track of a sense of time anymore. It could have been only a couple of minutes. It could have been an hour, even.
As I start to sit up, what happened?
They're still fighting him.
What happened to you?
Using
I kind of-
everything in my power to keep you alive.
You're alive.
And I mean everything.
I start to sit up. Grab what things that are around me that are mine.
I'm gonna level with you, Mordecai. I don't have a lot left in the tank. You were keeping everyone alive. And between me fighting and doing that after you went down, I'm out of components. And I'm almost out of everything else.
I kind of check my bag. I check myself. What do I have left on me?
Mordecai, this event must have taken a lot. Selene might have actually been through your things, as it looks like a couple of your pockets have been turned inside out with a quick pull, or the latches have been opened if they're in a like a backpack storage area. You begin searching through, and there's not much, at least of what you might be looking for. Diamonds, precious gems. It looks like in the scramble, whatever Selene did, it burnt through whatever you had. If she didn't do it, maybe you even did.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to go through your things, so I had to go through your things for components. We almost lost Bright, and I had to spend your last diamond on a revivify for her.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Where are they?
And she gestured towards the general direction of battle. Look, Mordecai, I don't think I can go back in there, not as I am.
What do you need?
I need time.
I kind of look at myself. Am I aged more than I was?
You certainly have sustained injuries, maybe no new wrinkles. You take a look at the shock of hair that had been grayed or white before. That itself doesn't seem to be much different. So you seem to be as you remember before whatever this is happened.
Last thing I remember was we were at your cabin.
That was ages ago. We're at the precipice of finishing this.
Right. Okay. Then more time it is. We have to.
We have to.
And he goes in to kiss her.
Mordecai, as you do, there is the kiss, but there is so much more. There's just a void almost, where you feel, maybe not even of her own accord, but there's just this pull. You feel yourself pouring into Selene, as she is a hungry void. But as you kiss, you hold her, and the flesh, you can feel return under the arm that it was just resting on her very literal shoulder blade. As you made contact with her bone, you feel the muscle, the skin. You feel the warmth return to the skin, the softness, the suppleness, as she fills out in your embrace. And your heart flutters. The breath is taken from your lungs, perhaps in a bit of the way that you two as lovers can share that experience still. But when you look, Mordecai, and your hand pulls back, you can see the spots, the veins of age. You can see your skin withered, and your body aches. However, Selene, young, beautiful, an angel on the battlefield, radiant, glowing with tremendous power.
Oh, that was a lot. Oh, that was more than I expected. You're okay?
Yeah.
Oh, my knees hurt.
She'd offer a hand to help you up.
Okay, then let's get back to the others then.
Yeah.
Your arthritic knees require the assistance of Selene. But with her
I
newfound
use my
strength...
staff as a walking stick.
However, where you're going, you won't be able to walk. Not quickly. Selene, though, can help and get you there much more quickly.
And she's definitely going to.
Two wings unfurl from your back. And your arms extend to Mordecai.
I take her. I kind of lean into her. Oh, that's no.
Pop it towards the battle.
I thought you couldn't fly.
With the energy you gave me, I feel like I can do anything.
The battlefield below you grows smaller, Mordecai, and you can see the sheer destruction of the land as it plays out. Not just a war, but an Armageddon has rolled out from the place that you're going. There are animals, people, machines. The sky itself is in turmoil as well, if not in a state of dying from the clouds and the flickering death throes of light that are just barely seen between the gaps in the clouds. You make distance quickly, and ahead of you, as you see now, this must be Fallfire, the Fallfire Plains. Ahead of you, then, however you got this far away from the combat, where everyone is still fighting. Ahead of you is a great black orb floating above a crater.
What is that? It's killing our planet. We have to stop it. Or it'll destroy everything.
Well, that's what we're attempting to do.
Mordecai, you can see from even this distance almost a fly to a great bullfrog. A familiar glint in shape of the Grand Imperator class Repentless, giving you a sense of scale for Sho'neuroth.
Jesus.
I can just
Well,
imagine.
totally.
I can just imagine there's a call from over a loudspeaker, perhaps. Maybe an order from a certain someone that you remember the voice of. Bring her broadside! We'll give her a taste of the fangs of the Repentless. And that's Cypher. In a rather uncharacteristically determined tone.
There are more airships, none as grand as the Repentless, but others, some are approaching the size. Shadowheart tankers, other ships as well, as the Repentless seems to be leading some sort of aerial armada in this fight against Sho'neuroth. A tendril, more like a spike, shoots out, impaling one of the ships.
Oh, shit.
With a signature pop and a burst of the souls released from the engines. It's not just a sphere. You're drawing closer and closer. It roils with tendrils and mouths and teeth. Not normal, the gears. Other machina can be seen as parts of this exterior yawn and close fluidly.
Like the vision. Have we been able to determine if we've been successful at any at all?
We're doing something.
Pissing it off, maybe?
Selene, a message comes to you. Well, not a message per the spell, but a sending. Do you have him? We need to reopen the shell as soon as possible.
Yeah, got him.
You continue flying in Selene's embrace. The maw of the Repentless opens wide, transforming itself into a mouth. Glowing, green, dripping. And then a blast. Not of light, though it does have an unearthly glow. The blast is more of a waft of this substance that pours forth from the jaws of the Repentless as it bites into, tears with an echo above the winds, above the sounds of fighting and chaos. Something like an apple being bitten into, while a fist plunges into a jar of mayonnaise at the same time.
It's a very squelchy sound.
And the Repentless seems to be able to tear a sizzling chunk out of this shell of Sho'neuroth. And the wound is there. Mordecai, maybe this answers your question. You found a way to be able to affect Sho'neuroth. It sizzles, it bleeds in a sense, as this acid, this foul acid mixes and sizzles with the juices and the flesh and the metals of Sho'neuroth. But you have your target. You fly closer, and as the Repentless banks from this now fouled front, it's no longer a shiny, beautiful thing with the details of the battle you can see as you're getting closer, and just this now substance coating the maw. A contemplative sound at its core, but reverberating through this massive structure, sounding like a scream that makes you clench your ears. As the Repentless banks, tendrils, now more than just the occasional that seem to fly out to try and capture these flies, like the darting tongue of a bullfrog. A concentrated effort as you see tendrils embrace and one rupture straight through the Repentless as it's being held. It is also being run through.
keep going. We need to regroup with the others.
Where are they?
She gestures to the hole. So I imagine they're most likely on the inside.
Inside?
Would I be wrong in that for the others, dear Dungeon Masters?
There, yeah, that's where you're going.
And Cypher's voice kind of crackles, because that loudspeaker has now become quite a bit staticky. His voice sounds pained. This a deep pain. Mordecai, Selene. This is the last time I can open the shell for you. Head inside. I don't have long left, but I'm gonna make sure that this thing receives the full force of what I'm capable of before it takes us.
Mordecai gives a shout. Good luck.
Keep it. You're gonna need it more than I where I'm going. And as Selene flies you through the hole, Mordecai, you hear the sound of a whirring and the creation of a second purple and black sphere behind you. It seems like Cypher might be going out with a bang. You've seen that kind of sphere from him before. It's the same thing that happened in Oldport when he
obliterated the square.
When he obliterated the square. But this one seems more powerful, drawing more in. You're safely out of range, of course. But it seems like this is a death roll.
Another tendril pierces the Repentless, tearing through one of the engines with that pop and release of not just the spirits, but whatever this amalgamation ship has become, as it seems to bleed as well. Not just energy, not just magic. The Repentless bleeds.
We have to finish this now.
Right now. And through the hole.
I'm tired of losing people.
You've flown over so many people that have lost their lives, and many more who are dead, dying, or changed, as there's just been shambling masses of aberrations, flesh that has been turned and warped, metallicized, or things that are metallic made meat. You have flown over armies of gnomes, elves. You have seen creatures of bone and flesh that are operated by metal cords, gears turning to make their heads jitter unnaturally as they click and search for other survivors to incorporate, consume, destroy. And as you near the breach in the skin, the shell, the something of Sho'neuroth, the breaches and the Repentless glow, there's a magical resonance that you can just feel, being someone attuned to the just the feel of magic itself, as the Repentless is dying. Cracks are appearing across the sundered hull. Green and purple light pour forth. Fluids pour out of the eviscerated bioship. And then the sky changes color for you. As the ship explodes.
God damn it, Cypher.
Selene, you wrap your arms, you wrap your wings around Mordecai as the two of you tumble. This magical energy is mostly has been taken by you. Though Mordecai, you do feel this heat without heat, this something that hurts your body in the places that Selene couldn't cover you. You can only imagine her back and her wings as they've been scorched by the unleashed energies of the rent Repentless. And you fly inside.
If she's injured, I'm gonna give her a cure wounds.
Sure, you can do that. Because she definitely is.
Okay. So, are you alright?
Yeah. I'm okay.
Inside Sho'neuroth, you can see, but there's no light. It's not dark vision, it's not magical, it's just... it is. It's almost as if there is the crater itself that Sho'neuroth had landed in, or a simulation of it, or something with an alien sky. Clouds that don't match your own, though to a degree you almost wish that they did.
Where are we now? Inside?
Yeah, we're inside. I'll fly you down to the others. DJ's been putting in a lot of work to cut for you while you've been gone.
We were in here before?
Yeah, Sho'neuroth picked you up and threw you like a softball almost.
Well, I'm not exactly that large, so you can imagine that's pretty easy.
You hit the deck with a pretty sickening crunch.
Ugh. Yikes.
Yikes. Yikes. How do you think I felt in that moment?
Sorry, and that's how I deal with stress, you know that.
Let's just get down to the others.
Right.
We're heading for where, Bright Norrelai and DJ are.
With the sun behind you, or rather, this place's sun or moon is the very breach into your reality. which you flew. The clouds here begin to coalesce. They begin to writhe and form more tendrils. These on the inside of the shell or barrier of Sho'neuroth. With
Oh, definitely don't want to get hit by those.
horrific sounds of wet flesh and grinding gears. They scream through the sky. Dozens of these things grabbing for you. They shoot out and forward and are met by another scream. Two dragons, though one with 5 heads, fly to intercept the tendrils as you two are almost acting like a comet streaking through the sky, down, down, down. The dragons are torn and bloodied. They have been fighting a long fight. At least 2 of the heads on the one with 5 are just limp. Tongues lolling out. Gouges of flesh rent from necks.
Is it possible that I could shoot out a mass cure wounds from the staff?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that and give them a bit more of an edge.
Your energy ripples across the 5-headed dragon. Some of the wounds heal, but there's so much more that needs to be done. The silver dragon roars, and the sounds of glaciers moving in ice, cracking and crashing, ripple across one of the giant tendrils that had wrapped around it. And using its strength, the dragon breaks the frozen tentacle. Mordecai! In the accented, monstrous sound of Casimir's voice.
Casimir.
They need you!
Selene, Norlight and Bright?
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing at the moment. We need to get
Right.
something quick.
Yeah.
And do we see them at this altitude?
Not yet, no.
Then Selene will simply call back. Keep your head up, Casimir. We'll get through this yet. And she's gonna head off in that direction.
I always have kept my head up as the dragon roars. And after that, after discarding the frozen part of the tendril with that kind of smug look, as Casimir gives a draconic thumb to himself with his chin up, the writhing edge of the sundered part of the tentacle, still pouring from the skies, seems to regrow and right into the neck and under the jaw, exiting where the skull attached to the spine, pinning Casimir's head up as his wings stutter and spasm, his limbs drop. His tail droops as he's suspended in the sky.
Don't look back. Don't look back. Keep going.
3 heads of the remaining dragons scream. Not in terror, not completely, but in anguish, in loss,
Oh, God.
and in rage. Do you remain to assist, or do you press forward?
I don't have any more diamonds left.
I don't either. We have to keep going. There's nothing that can be done there now.
Not fair. It's not fair.
Use your energy to keep who's alive left.
Right. We have to find Brett and Norlai.
And Selene's headed for what she would know to be their last known location.
Okay. Leaving the dragons behind to fight and, from the sounds of it, die. You continue flying. Selene, you are holding Mordecai close. Your wings do feel better, so it is more controllable, less painful, with his energies flowing through you. Closer and closer now you get, and you can see at the epicenter of the crater there are certainly spells flying. There's something happening, and for sure in the darkness there's at least one presence that seems to outshine the others. Bright, she's still alive. She seems to be moving. That's got to be her mage armor. I would recognize that sparkly pink twinkle anywhere. Bright is a welcome guiding star in this dark, desolate waste that you entered.
Forward.
Forward.
You can now see things taking shape better. You're closer, more details. It looks like there's certainly Bright, and you can see the occasional sparks and leaping electricity of Norlai as she's flying around, assaulting some dark, lightless figure in the center. And someone else working in tandem. You fly closer. That's her brother, Loki.
Okay.
They seem to be working together.
Oh, good.
And closer and closer now. A tendril flies out from the dark figure and passes through a larger... Oh, DJ. DJ falls. The tendril's extracted from his body. He falls to his knees with his arms also limp. And he...
How far away?
You're mere hundreds of feet away at this point. You're flying as fast as Selene can carry you, without falling, without dashing yourself on the rocks below, impaling yourself, or anything else as hazardous. DJ falls back. and he seems to see you as 3 thick fingers reach up in your direction. Seconds feel like years, feel like decades. Hundreds of feet. You've walked so far in your life. You've been everywhere. You've seen everything. Every foot is a fight. Every yard a continent. You can't seem to do anything fast enough. There's never enough power, never enough resources, never enough time. But he might still be alive. There is a glint to his eyes as you grow closer. If you want to land next to him,
I'll spare him from a distance and then cure wounds when I get close.
you fly past. You cast Spare the Dying as a pathetic, almost, hopefully, not a final, almost a final breath, or a final moo, as it were, leaves his muzzle.
I walk closer to him to try and cure wounds.
Yep. And I'll drop him off to let him do that.
Are you staying by Mordecai's side, Selene?
I can't.
You fly forward.
I have to continue the fight. I have to continue the fight.
Mordecai, you're beside DJ. What are you saying or doing as Selene takes off to the center of the crater?
I'm casting cure wounds on DJ. Hopefully, get him back up on his feet.
You do. The severity of his injuries. I mean, you maybe any port in a storm, but it's a bandage on a wound that requires a tourniquet. It's something. His eyes flutter. He's clearly in pain. He's not dead, if that matters for anything. And a sparkling pink bright shows up at your side. Mordecai, that's nice and all, but we could really use your help. Okay, thanks. And before she can finish her signature phrase, a black tendril shoots from behind.
We do have a bright here.
We do have her here, yeah.
Yeah, we do. Well, don't worry, she's getting in. A black tendril shoots from the main mass of the combat and impales Bright through the head. Her pink sparkles and shimmers and disappears.
Right. I look to see if there are other brights because I know that she does this whole like mirror image thing.
All right. Yes. You, in that moment of horror, you see the black tendril impale Bright's head, and there is just this kind of pop and a sparkly effect. As you do look, she appears.
Oh,
Yeah, I was here the whole time. Sorry if you were worried.
glad you were. Yeah, glad to see that you're not impaled through the head. It missed.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it better that way. So, glad you're back. Don't die.
Yeah.
I thought you died, so that's better.
I don't know if I did or not. Yeah, DJ, can you get back up on your feet?
I'll certainly try. He sounds pained, and watching him, like, it makes your own body, now that you're using your legs again, and like you know, in that blissful moment of ignorance, you forgot just how aged you were. And of course, Bright, you're seeing a very wizened Mordecai. You need to hold yourself on your staff, as now this reality washes over you, especially seeing a very shaky, a very blood-slicked Minotaur rise to his feet. Well, his hooves.
All right. Well, I'm ready to get back to it. We can't leave Selene and them alone. So I'm gonna start walking.
Yep. In fact, as you turn now, as Bright had seemingly come out to check on you or something, and one of her mirror images was popped, you have a shaky Minotaur. There's you. There's Bright. The siblings, Norelai and Lokiadius, are flying and taking shots at this central mass. Selene, what have you done in the meantime after depositing Mordecai next to the dying Minotaur and rushing forward? What is the sight that they behold?
Selene would have rushed forward to join the flying siblings.
Okay.
Adding to their cacophony with her own barrage of sun blasts.
All right.
If I still have it available, I want to use Radiant Soul and fly myself.
Your Radiant Soul seemingly was consumed by Selene. That's what got you here and gave her wings. It was you that uplifted her, Mordecai. But she certainly took a lot in this last kiss.
Yeah, that was a lot. Oh, I never thought I'd be arthritic in my 30s. I'm trying to hobble forward.
Sure. Bright, do you have anything to say or add to the group or the scene?
I just, so Mordecai, you've looked a little better, I have to say. It seems like you've been through some stuff. It's almost like he threw you into like 50 years from now. I didn't know he could do that, but hey.
Yeah, a lot of that was, given to Selene.
Oh, well, I guess that's up to you. I hope it's worth it. Whoops. Whew. You have to watch out for those tentacles.
Yeah. And moving forward.
All right. At your best pace, you all are moving forward with a limping Minotaur and an aged Tiefling. Bright, you are actually not the slowest person in the party after all this time.
Well, that's a refreshing change.
Except when you're in a hurry. The black mass in the center produces several tendrils that fly out. Selene, thankfully, holds a shield in front of her in time, and it seems to just sort of bounce off as she banks in the air. And one of them hits into Norelai, though it seems to be enough that it gives her a knockback, a glance. It doesn't seem to penetrate her skin like the one that got Loki. As one impales his calf and seems to almost form a barb at the end. And then the pull as Loki is ripped from the sky using the same momentum that he was flying and slams into the crater.
Oh. God damn it.
Loki is hurt. Loki is, if he's not dead, he's definitely dying. It looks like one of his legs, not just a knee, not an ankle, at the hip, has been disjointed. It is completely bent the wrong way, and his tail is bent in half under him.
I need to get to them as quickly as possible.
As Noralai was spinning, she was able to recover before hitting the side of the crater, but you can hear her cry, "Loki!" as she holds her hand out. Her eyes, those sparkling summer bright blue sky eyes, open wide. And you all continue to make progress forward.
I need to help him.
Selene, you can see that those three are incoming. They're almost close enough. They're moving as best as they can, but what are you doing here? Noralai is crying after her brother, seemingly is going to fly down to do something. You can attack, you can try to command her to do something, you can try and render aid, you have so many options that you can choose right now. But Loki is definitely flattening out as he's losing blood, and the air has been knocked from his lungs, and as well as a lot of other things from the inside of his body. This is distracting, this is terrorizing his sister, and then you have Bright, who has certainly taken some licks, but is the hale and heartiest between your enfeebled husband and a minotaur that is hobbling along on not too much. Do you want to continue the assault, Selene? Do you want to go grab someone? Do you want to shout a command to try and encourage or provide some leadership here?
Yes. My apologies. My headset cut out there for a moment. Selene is going to do two things. She's going to tell Mordecai that Noralai and Loki are in need of assistance, and then she's going to keep up her assault solo against Sho'neuroth, switching from the sunbeams that she's been launching at into, well, now there's a massive 3-foot bladed scythe made out of something? You can't really see what from this distance, but it's a massive scythe, and she's flying in to duel with Sho'neuroth directly.
Okay. Noralai. This might affect your decision here, Mordecai, but Noralai lands, scoops up her brother, who's just limp and dripping in her arms, and flies wailing towards you all to bring him closer to you. And
I'm gonna heal him.
Okay. Go ahead.
Actually gonna cast heal on this one.
This is going to be our black writhing mass. It's not Selter, but it's what I have.
No,
Yep.
she got impaled earlier.
All right. So, Mordecai, you pour more energy, and Loki's eyes flutter open, and he screams in pain as he's once again brought to consciousness. His nerve endings are repaired. His body realizes, if only in a brief, agonizing moment, everything that had happened to it as it is forced to knit itself back together. He screams in pain, and Noralai is next to him, holding him tight, trying to comfort him. Bright, what are you doing? Selene has moved in to take the attack there. You have Mordecai, and you have Mordecai. Actually, you have the three tieflings, sort of in a pile together here.
Yeah. So, how far away is the mass?
Reasonable enough for most of your spells or effects.
Okay. All right.
It's not
So-
in melee.
I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, so I pull out my little orb that I've been using, not the scrying globe, just a little orb,
Okay.
and it's got these. It's not just glass anymore. It looks almost like stained glass, but if you look at it real close, what you see is that it's somehow got the surface of it has been infused with these tiny little bits of crystal. And I look and I show it out. Isn't it shiny? It works so well now. And then I stand back and I hold it up and I cast a little blob of something, and it goes right into the middle of the black mass and it just stays there. And I say, okay, we'll just wait for a minute on that one. It needs to cook. You don't want your magical souffle to fall. And then I run and hide behind Mordecai.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
DJ is Mordecai. I'm sorry. There's nothing else that I can do. I'm spent. Well, there might be one thing I can do.
What would that be?
He draws a blade that's been in a scabbard at his side.
Getting that close. Getting that close is not a good idea.
It's the only way I can affect it, Mordecai. My magics don't work. I have to hit it. If we don't do this now, who will? There's no one left.
I mean, you're right.
And
You're probably seeing tendril bits fly everywhere as Selene has become something akin to a living slash not living blender.
cresting the ridge of the crater,
Many fall in the face of chaos,
as
but not this
there
one.
are certainly others
today.
left to do something, but to render aid to your cause is probably not going to be it, as you see more of these corrupted Fae. Flying, terrestrial, some of them look insectoid that you remember from the caves of Orlans, who themselves were people at one time, corrupted and changed by the Fae, and now further turned aberrant. You're also seeing very juicy gnomes. You're seeing elves with not just long ears, but tendrils for ears. There's rock gnomes with gears for feet. There's all sorts of other creatures, things that at one time had been skeletons, maybe even vampires, as in this light their fangs glint as a weird oil, not even a blood, drips from their mouths. And
This isn't right.
they're going to be here soon, Mordecai. Says DJ. I don't
None of
want to
this
do
is
this,
right.
but we have to end it now.
None of this is right.
We need to end it.
Mordecai is gonna stand up and cast Sunburst at Sho'neuroth.
Sure. The light from the hole, such as it's still there, as it does seem to actually be closing, almost like a reverse eclipse, where it's filling from the outside and not the inside. But as this hole still remains, a beam of light from your world, and not just your home world, but the world that you have come to know, the very earth itself, the land, breaches into this place, pours down at your direction, and inundates this central black mass. Between the internal illumination Bright has provided it, if only dimly from within, and the massive beam shining down, inside this writhing, gelatinous mass, like maybe another shell, there's something else, something solid inside. Selene,
A core.
a sunbeam pours down over this mass. What are you doing, being the closest to it right now?
And as the solid chunk of the middle is revealed, Selene is gonna go for a swing straight to it.
Your scythe cuts into this pudding flesh, tearing a chunk away, splatting it, in a sense similar to what just happened to Loki not that long ago. Lokiadius groans in pain, steps up, and looks to you. Thank you, Mordecai.
Anything for family.
And he gets up and looks at his sister, and his sister Norelai is joyed that he is back up. From the mass, several more of these tendrils fly out. Evil missiles with alien intent. It flies to Norelai, stops just short as she laughs in a moment where she displaces away from where the missile had just stopped. And half a moment later, there's a as the first was just a ruse to bait her dodge. As Sho'neuroth seemed to understand her ploy, calculated it, knew with some inevitability that she was going to be there. And Norelai is... It must have punctured a lung. She can't even scream or speak. There's no air in her lungs to do so. And she can't even fall to her feet because this thing is keeping her up. Loki screams, and he, in a panic, draws a dagger and just tries to stab at this thing, impaling his sister. Bright, what are you doing in this round, quote unquote?
So I'm gonna look at the advancing zombie horde.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna look over and shoot a regular old fireball at them. Probably like level 5-ish. Yeah, we'll say level 5.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice bread and butter. Yep. It does. It seems to. It does seem to debilitate. Some of them are destroyed. Others have this very wet exterior. It almost cocoons them as their own skin or this viscera that encapsulates them hardens, and then it crackles as they sort of burst out of their own skin with whatever remains as they step forward, heavily damaged, but not seemingly put off by the threat that's before them.
Well, that's okay. How many did I kill?
You killed several of them.
Okay. I'll remember that.
These are these are more for like a small group of them each, as there are many that are up here.
Okay.
I don't want to put 100 tokens on the rim though, so.
Yeah.
I demand 100 tokens.
Well, then I'll remove this token to show that you killed several of them.
Okay.
I have to try and help Loki. He's family.
DJ, as you make plans to do that, DJ goes. He runs forward using the momentum of going down in the crater. He holds his sword forward as well as his horns as he makes a charge attack to offer 3 points of impalation to this thing. A echoing, bellowing moo resonates through this crater. And the 3 points, the 2 from his horns and his longsword, also damage this coating, this fleshy exterior to the core, as he roars and rips his head up, and just chunks of this blackness just fly off of his head as he gouges into this thing. The masses begin moving down the crater, closing in, protecting this central thing, following its commands, or who knows what is anything anymore. Who's doing what for what purpose and why? We come back to the middle. Mordecai, if you want to do something first, you're welcome to. Norelai is slack. Her lungs have been collapsed as she's been pierced through and is being held aloft on this tendril. Loki's trying to desperately cut at this thing. What are you doing?
I have to help her. She's the only one. We need her. Everyone. I anticipated that this was going to be an endeavor that would kill us. I don't want it. I want Sho'neuroth gone. I'm gonna make sure that it happens.
How are you helping them?
I am decisions. This needs to end now. I love Norelai, but this has to end now. I'm going to pour everything that I have into an earthquake.
Okay.
It's a level 9 spell.
Mm-hmm.
Casting it at level 9. Because that's the spell slot I have. So, earthquake.
And what kind of manifestation are invoking with your earthquake? Since you do get a couple different types.
I am hoping for some very crushing rocks to fall on this aberration and destroy the core.
Okay. Sure. Your fury of the earth manifests even in this alien terrain, whatever this place is, and cracks form and spread throughout this crater. Some fissures begin to open, though you're seeing some kind of like an ooze or a goo just beneath. Just stringy, wet bridges of something can be seen, like you're pulling a grilled cheese apart. And as the earth is quite literally the crusts, you're just seeing something under, suffusing, corrupting the land. It's not holding it together like glue, but it's some sort of like pus from an infection.
An infection that needs to be purged.
Selene, you don't have to worry about this as you have wings, which is fine because the earth trembles and gives out near where you're at. If it weren't for your wings, you would have fallen into this diseased mess in the land. DJ is not so lucky. He may be a reddish bull. He does not have wings. DJ falls into a fissure. Rocks from the crater begin tumbling in and forward. And are falling towards the center. Great boulders impact. The first few might roll off of this mass, others seemingly embed into it, and more will continue to fall. If you're keeping your concentration. The masses up here tumble and are beginning to be crushed by the rocks from the rim as well. Bright, can I have you make a dex save, please? And unfortunately, this is something that cannot be foreseen for you because you used those up way early in this fight.
Yeah, of course I did. Okay. 16.
The masses tumble, crushed by rocks, leaving black smears behind where those who didn't survive were found and streaking down into the bottom of the bowl here. Bright, as the earth begins to tremble, is there anything that you'd like to turn around and say to Mordecai?
I'm not sure. I guess I'd look over and say, well, this could be it. Collateral damage is a real bummer.
Yeah, it is. There's been a lot of collateral damage.
You address Bright as she makes this point, and one of the boulders that had been gaining momentum, a large chunk, comes by and crushes Bright, leaving a bright red smear where she stood. You were just talking to her, you were just replying to what she said. The
Selene?
tendril holding Norelai was pinched between boulders and was severed, dropping her and the tendril still through her to the shaking ground.
Selene, we have to end this now.
You hear a yell from the center of the crater, just above where all the rocks are falling. What do you think? Stupid tentacle. I'm trying to do.
No, I think I deleted my layer. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm ruining
okay.
the immersion here, but
Immersion.
Yeah. Wonder why everyone was in Weiho. Also,
Yeah.
as I get smushed, my delayed blast fireball would go off.
that's actually very cool and cinematic and perfectly fine.
Gotta love the delayed blast fireball.
Now everyone's gone. All right. So that goes off. In this moment, there are rocks tumbling down, crushing around, making this place shaking, claustrophobic. Norelai is dropped. Loki is there. I'm just gonna drag you all back out to the back to the middle. And we have fissures. We have falling rocks. We have blood trails, oozes, fluids, and flesh everywhere. And Selene, back to you at the beginning. This seems to be the last desperate push. Mordecai did what Mordecai did. I don't know if you have a problem with it, but the boulders that have fallen down have almost like squished to the point of almost like a pimple popping this fluid up to the top of the pile of rubble. And there's like straining under a thin skin of this blackness is some kind of a shape. A person. Looks humanoid. But all of everything, like all of the rest of the corruption was like squished and crushed behind, just pushing this core to the top.
The thread is open. And I'm going to swing my scythe down at it. The scythe of disaster.
Go ahead and swing. I want to see if it's effectively if this is a green number or not.
I will note a green number. A green number for this is an 18 or higher,
Oh, geez.
because that's actually in the spell.
Okay. you hit, and you tear open this almost oil slick layer. And as the rocks continue tumbling, Mordecai, are you concentrating on this? Are you keeping this earthquake going?
I have to.
Is there something you want to do also while you're concentrating? I mean, besides trying to, as best you can, get out of the way of these boulders that are coming for you too. You're in the bottom just like anyone else.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I'm getting out of the way. And, but I'm definitely reaching out to my goddess. I'm doing this for you.
I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. This is going to be straight up. However, because of your advanced age, you can still keep any proficiencies and whatnot, but your dexterity is going to end up being a 10.
Okay.
So take that into consideration with whatever the final math is going to be. So it's a plus
temporarily
0, I guess, if you with proficiency if you took it.
Yeah, I'm gonna temporarily change it. Ooh, no.
All right, Mordecai, you try to scramble. You try to scramble up, and as you do, your uh your ankle and your foot is caught between two boulders that crushes your foot between them, pinning you. As you've climbed up, you're almost at the feet of this thing. Selene is there, her wings are spread, and she has swung down and burst this thing.
He definitely lets out a yelp in pain. But he can still concentrate if he attempts to, because that's he's a warcaster.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so
I know this is important. That you want to keep this earthquake up to.
Uh-oh.
The earthquake ceases.
Advantage is a 10.
Well, it depends on the damage. If the damage is higher than 22.
Yes, I have effectively crushed and removed your foot.
Yeah, definitely
It's
higher
there
than
for the
22
sake of
damage then.
keeping you right now, I guess, unless you want to cut yourself free by removing your leg from about the shin down, or
Ouch.
otherwise summoning some tremendous force to move either of the powerful boulders that have crushed your leg between them. You are pinned. The figure that sluices from all of this corruption that was popped by Selene stands, and the blackness as it fades leaves behind a pale, formless flesh. Two eyes open, glowing intensely green. And Selene, I need you to make a con save at disadvantage, please.
Constitution save at disadvantage. 20.
Good. You are not completely disintegrated.
Oh.
As a wave of force that seeks to tear apart at some fundamental, if the notion of an atomic level of things was known to you, Mordecai, or to the world at large, this is something that seems to break apart to tear at things at the most elemental level possible. So Selene, you survived it. I'm not going to roll damage, but I'm going to say that you survived it because you did a very good job, even at disadvantage. However, Mordecai, you see that much of Selene has been laid bare again, and she seems to almost be in that same state that she found you. Skeletal, but now it's not even just the flesh that was draped over the bones of your former love. Even those bones have been disintegrated, are falling apart. It's not just the skin, it's not just the bones. Like, there are just parts. The wings have been taken down to almost nothing as Selene stands there. Mordecai, you could fix this, but you don't have enough life left in you to give her what she needed if what she took the first time brought her back to normal. Well, above normal, but... And the figure turns. A face begins to protrude through the blank form. Actual eyes, not just points of destruction or disintegration. A nose, fingers. It's like you're watching a person form in front of you from just this protean ooze. And the form of Jade stands atop the ruin and the rubble at the bottom of this crater.
You're at the core of this?
Her eyes look calm. She's at some sense of peace. She must be lucid right now. And she steps over to you. Raw, naked flesh, dripping, glistening in the little bit of light left, as this seems to be it's so close to closing back up. Of course, Mordecai, she says in a clear voice. I suppose the question is if I wanted to or not.
Wanted to what?
If I wanted to or not.
Wanted to do what?
She stands back up and makes a grand sweeping gesture.
Destroy the world?
But there's something you have to do, isn't there?
I have to save the world. I can't let you do this.
Then do it.
I'm sorry, Jade. I'm so sorry.
Selene, as old man Mordecai is in pain, tears, you hear this going on as you're hanging on to existing. Mordecai, I don't know. If you think he has the strength to do what's necessary, he's recognized it. He's caused the earthquake. Is there anything that you want to say or do? As Jade has her back to you, Mordecai is not necessarily within easy striking distance. What would you like to do, Selene, if anything, or say?
I'm sorry too. And with the one good arm, the scythe is gonna cut Jade clean in half.
And Mordecai is casting Flame Strike.
You reach up as the scythe cuts down a glint of your spell off of this cold steel, and Jade peacefully, without a change in expression, no recognition of pain or concern or betrayal or even a thank you, if that's what she sought. She peacefully falls to pieces.
I'm so sorry, Jade.
And from her body, wispy black tendrils seem to crawl like maggots, like worms, snakes, and they pour with the fluidity of smoke out from her remains and to a place where there's a power vacuum currently. As you see Selene's body begin to reconstitute in the places where there is nothing or only parts, as a dark semblance of what you remember being there. As the essence of Sho'neuroth leaves one host and flows to Selene, almost like a storm drain for power, for essence.
It seems that she's trying to resist, but it ain't working so good.
Selene?
It's to kill me.
No.
What a guy.
I have to kill you?
And a different voice exits her. It sounds similar to hers, but it's calmer, richer, deeper. All become. And there's a hand that's outstretched.
No. No, I can't let you have her. I won't let you take her. She's fine.
It would seem, Coffee, or Mordecai, you don't have to let go if you choose to embrace. If you would like to keep Selene with you, an offer of power has been made. You could become the first and foremost warlock of a new Sho'neuroth. You would never have to part from her again. What is your choice?
I can't. I have to let her go. I have to let her go. To let her go. He's going to summon a spiritual weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And reluctantly swing at her. He won't let her be a slave. He would rather spend the rest of the afterlife with her. Not a life of servitude to an entity that is a cancer. He won't destroy the world for her.
Your weapon
That's
made
too
of your
selfish.
beliefs, your intent, the magics bestowed upon you and conducted through you. Cleave the remains of your past and your present to save the future.
I love you, Selene.
Selene, do you have words?
There's a oddly serene look on Celine's face as the weapon strikes through her. Much like Jade, no recognition of pain or anything like that. But unlike Jade, her lips turn up in a smile. Hey, love you too. And in that moment, the light in Celine's eyes goes dull. Her form slumps forward, eyes flickering shut.
And as the light and life leave, so too does the darkness suffusing her, Mordecai. And the world shakes. This world, the one that was created, suspended and upheld by Sho'neuroth. Cracks begin to form in the sky from the pinhole as this world is collapsing, unable to continue. And so too, Mordecai, aged, crushed. This world coming tumbling down around you to another one that you might not even ever know, for your own life is slipping from you. next to the set of bones. That's all the mortal remains left behind. And a growing light above you, a brighter and brighter light. What are your thoughts to yourself, or a prayer left to a world that may never know you? None could think to recognize you in this advanced state, if they even find you. Your friends lie dead and scattered around you. What are your final thoughts, Mordecai? You did it. You've saved the world.
He's sitting there, staring up at the sky that's opening. Kind of waiting for death to take him. He hopes that the land is happy. But he anguishes. Tears just kind of pooling in his ears from the crying as he's laying there. He'd never ask for anything in return. He kind of knew this would happen. That this would be the way. It was either going to kill them all, in success. Maybe they would all. He was hoping that they all could just go home. Live out peaceful lives for the rest of their existence. The Chroma Company. But he wasn't naive. So much had already been taken from him. What was a little more? He did it all for love. He did it all because his love for the world, his love for them. Because it's what they would need to keep going.
The sky is tumbled. The mountains have broken. And for what it's worth, Mordecai, probably the last thing that you see is just that normal sky again. The clouds have returned. The heat. The birds flying in the air instead of monstrosities. And then it gets darker and darker. And then we break. For one tale of horror and tragedy, of hard decisions, is over. And we have one more to go tonight, everyone. So I hope you're ready. Get a drink, a snack, and do what you must do. Because after our break, we're going to come back. And it's going to be Selene's turn to discover what awaits her. I'll see you soon, my friends.